Yo, it's Ritzy here. So our last few videos have all been about World Atlas, and they've been really, I guess, simplistic answers I can give you as to like how to work on World Atlas, what you should do. But as I'm continuing to make support content, we're gonna get to more, I guess, complicated issues that I can't just easily read a passive in game and tell you how to do it or what to do against it. So this is gonna be one of those complex issues that we're gonna have to get a little more hands-on. This one might be slightly longer than our last video. So this video we're going to talk about what to do when you encounter, I guess, off-meta supports. This is going to be from, I'm going to explain it from, I guess, the ADC's POV of what you do with this, and also from the support's POV that's playing it, or maybe if you're fighting against it, because if you play League, you're not always going to be fighting, you know, the Namis, the Lulus, the Tariks. You're sometimes going to run into Teemo. You'll fight Silas. There's a lot of weird off-meta picks that sometimes come out to play, so I think it's best that we discuss this and figure out why we should probably steer away from it, when we should play it, how do we deal with it, we're an ADC, and just generally why it exists. So, not exactly in that order. I'm going to refresh, we're going to walk the lane, and I'm going to talk about, I guess, the phenomenon and why it's come about. So, if you're below, like I would say, if you're below Platinum, if you're in like the normal ranks that most of us mortals, you know, us normal people are in, where the majority of the population is, you are most likely going to run into off-meta supports like Teemo, like I just got done mentioning. And Teemo, I tend to find him a lot. You'll see people picking these characters over the, I guess like the typical picks like Thresh and stuff, because there's two reasons for it. One, they just might not know any better. Sometimes people are just trying out new things. But this one isn't as common as the second reason, which is that the support role kind of has an issue where most of the characters in support aren't exactly fun to play long term. Riot has did a really good job of making support a fun role to play, but the actual characters in the role, to be honest with you, aren't as rewarding to, I guess, play long term as something that isn't in the role. So a lot of support players end up getting, I guess, bored with their picks over time. I actually have to start Q here. But a lot of support players end up getting bored with their picks over time, and they look for something fun, because after you queue up 20, 30 games of like Lulu or Nami, you eventually might get tired out of playing them, which is understandable. Again, I play support, so I know which characters are fun, and I know that the role itself, no matter what you pick, even if you play Engage, will get boring over time, or the characters get boring over time. So the community has solved this. They've taken this to their own hands, and a lot of players in low elo will just pick these things like Teemo or Silas. The problem here is that Teemo and Silas aren't exactly built for the role, and they are kind of gold reliant and not helpful, which we went over in our last video. When you're playing support, you are usually, for the beginning of the game, going to be dueling with someone who is very gold reliant. So if you pick these off-meta picks like Teemo or Silas, you're basically either you have to be trash because your character needs gold, or you're going to be in direct competition with your ADC for gold. Either way, no one's truly winning here, versus if we look at the enemy composition where they have someone like Nami who needs no gold and Dunar who needs a lot of gold, they both get to win because they both get to play their game. Our composition, we don't both get to win because for one of us to play our game, the other one has to suffer. We have to hurt each other, basically. We're not a good duo. We're toxic. We're a toxic relationship together. So that's kind of the problem with this. Now, I'm not saying never play off-meta supports, even though I'd probably say never play Teemo, because frankly, of the off-meta picks, Teemo is amongst one of the weaker ones. We can actually... Here's when it's going to get a little more complex. I can't just show you this in training mode. I can show you what Teemo's abilities are, that he can press Q to blind you, and most Teemos, they'll go Malignants and they'll throw shrooms down to get vision. That's what he does, but I can't show you, I guess, the meta interactions between supports and all that. For that, we're going to have to use the new feature I just learned how to do today. I'm gonna be spamming this in all my videos now I know how to do it. So I figured out how to record how to switch between in-game footage and desktop footage. So we're gonna, hold on. I don't want to have this noise in the background. background. So yeah, I'm like switching different peripherals, so it's weird for my position. I'm gonna pause the game because I don't want to have this distracting noise in the background, and I'm now going to transition to my PC's point of view. So to understand this issue better, it's not easy to just look in game, because if you just look at like the in-game stats of blah blah blah, if you're playing Teemo support, you're gonna do a lot of damage, and hell, you might even win a few games, so you're probably gonna think, oh, it's good. You're not gonna be able to see, I guess, the meta or like the overall zoomed out image unless you use one of these websites. So the first one I'm gonna show you today is LOLalytics. It's like basically typing LOL and then analytics. You combine the words. I can put the URL in our description, but you type this in and it'll bring you to this website. From here, if we go to LOL tier list, we can go to the individual roles and see what is winning. Now, remember how we said Teemo typically is going to do a lot of damage and get a lot of kills, and you might even win with it in some of your games. So why is Teemo bad? I could what would I say? I could like run my mouth and explain why he's bad, or I could kind of show you what's winning so we can get a better idea of what is good to understand what is bad. What is typically good in support are people that can work off low gold and people that can like roam to other lanes and set people up to get ahead. If you're capable of working off low gold to make for your kit to work, you have a huge advantage over anyone else that's playing support. Now, if I scroll down, you're gonna notice a common trend. The lower you go in support, the more gold reliant the champion is. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, where it's a toxic relationship between you kind of gotta describe it this way, but it's a toxic duo. It's a parasitic relationship between the ADC and the support instead of a symbiotic one like it should be. So if I scroll all the way down, the worst support you possibly can play in the game is Misfortune. She actually is an ADC. She's stupidly gold reliant because 90% of ADCs by nature need gold to function. They're piss useless if they're not getting money. So it's quite thematic that the worst support in the entire game is Misfortune. But why is that so? Because whenever you lane against Misfortune, she does, even if she's support, she does a lot of damage. She's really annoying and she pokes you out. The same thing for Ziggs. Shouldn't Ziggs, Malphite, and Misfortune be strong because they do a lot of damage and poke you? And it kind of comes back to what I was saying there before. If they want to carry the game and impact the game a lot, Misfortune, Ziggs, and Malphite have to get their expensive items. To get these expensive items, they either have to A, steal gold, which we went over in the last video by stealing farm isn't really that good, or B, they have to steal kills, which is also hurting their ADC. Since they're basically tidally, or they're like locked to these super gold hungry duos, this hurts both of them. These characters are not bad characters, they're just really bad when you play them in support, because support is meant, like I keep saying it, but support is meant to function without money. When you play characters that need money, and they only function well with money in support, they suddenly become garbage. Misfortune is one of the best ADCs in the game, but she is horrible if you play her bot lane. I mean, if you play her support. So that kind of puts into perspective when you're picking support, what you like. If you're not like going, if you're gonna like think outside the box and pick special things, think about how well is my character gonna function if they're not getting kills in gold, and that typically will answer your question of whether or not they're gonna be a good support and all of that. Typically, the more gold hungry they are, which are the carry characters, they typically don't do super well in support. There are good carry characters in support, but those are characters that usually have the option to carry with or without a lot of money. So if I scroll up, Pantheon, I mean, he's mid, he ain't the best, he's ranked 43, but Pantheon's better than Misfortune because even if he loses lane, he still has his CC where he can jump on you and stuff. All Misfortune gives you is damage, which damage only works, I guess damage is only scary if there's a lot of gold being funneled into it. CC abilities are better when there isn't gold being funneled into them. This is another pretty mid-ass support, Aurelian Soul, but he does have the ultimate that locks you in place, and he has the E that kind of stuns you. We're going up. Now we got Nico. She does good damage, but she also has a crap ton of CC. That's why she's in the higher mid tier. We go up a little bit further. We got Silas. It's the same thing. He does damage, but he has CC and he can frontline. Zyra's low-key kind of, I think, the gatekeeper of mid. I think once you get to Zyra, she's like the last B tier character on the list. And then Zyra and beyond are all pretty good. I'm a little on the fence about Nidalee, but you know, Nidalee's weird. She's an outlier. I think she can be good, but I don't recommend you play her. But most of these characters here all can do stuff when they're not rich. So this is why they're good at support. However, there are some scenarios where people that aren't within this top 20 are actually kind of good. And for that, I need to go to another website. Because the off-meta, I guess like the off-meta scourge, or like understanding the off-meta, the dynamics of people picking off-meta and support is really complicated. It's not just one thing I can tell you, it's many things coming out to play here. So, we saw here, there was this guy named Ivern. And he's confusing. Because Ivern's mid right here, but if I go to a different website called u.gg, this site's very similar to Lolalytics, but it basically makes it easier to look at people's interaction to one another. You can look at like duos and synergies a little bit easier. I like looking at it on u.gg. So if I go here, I go to look at more stats. We go to duos. We'll notice that, well, we're going to ignore the people with really small amounts of games. Like, what, this is 3 games, 6 games, 9 games. You don't really see anything here. Not a lot of matches. You'll notice there's an outlier. There's this guy named Rengar who suddenly Ivern plays a lot with, and he also wins a lot with. And this brings up my second point. Off-meta support is actually kind of strong if you have a specific duo or the person you're playing understands the assignment and they trust you. Which is why it's fine to be an off-meta support player, but the main thing you want to do with off-meta support is you want to find a duo. It's I guess think of it like this, like consent really matters when you're playing these weird, strange picks. You don't want to just force your random Ivern support onto someone that's has no clue what you're doing and they just want to queue up some Kai'Sa. If you go Ivern with some random guy that wants to play Kai'Sa, you're gonna ruin his day and his odds of winning, they plummet. Same thing with Misfortune or any of these characters. These are not trash characters to play bot lane, but they are garbage if you play them with Ivern. So, if you're going to play Ivern, you're gonna need a Rengar main. Now here's the problem. Rengar is not a common, if we click on him, Rengar in general is not a super common character for people to just have. Like, his pick rate's really low. And most people that are playing Rengar, where is it? Most people that are playing Rengar are playing him jungle, where, you know, he's... Can I filter it to it? It's being weird. We might have to go to... Let's just go here. I don't know what the site's doing, but most people that play Rengar are going to play him jungle, because that's where he's meant to go. He's not so strange in jungle, and he's not relying on a specific thing. How good he is, well, that's whatever. Rengar is kind of hit or miss. He's either doing really good when 99's playing him, or most of the time he's low-key kind of just alright, because he's a one-trick character. That kind of plays into what I'm saying. Most random league players you're going to run into are not just going to have a pocket Rengar they can pull out of their magical hats. So, going Ivern support, even though, yes, he has a really good synergy with Rengar, isn't always the best idea, because your odds of just randomly queuing with some guy that's like, yeah, I can go Rengar for you, that's not good. You're probably going to end and throw a lot of games away if you're queuing Ivern support. Even though I don't think Ivern support's bad, because you have the option to, if you can find the mythical, the Rengar duo that is willing to play ADC with you, suddenly, let's look at his stats. I think it goes for Rengar too. Suddenly, Rengar actually isn't so garbage in the bot lane. Actually, he has okay duos with other people too. Where is Ivern? Where is he? Oh, I might not show it because Ivern is not... Ivern's a statistical anomaly, so it's probably not going to show it in duos. He's not really common. So, of the normal people, these are like your... Like, Xylene, I know is actually good with you because he can speed you up in interaction and stuff like that, but this is a good example. Rengar bot can be exceptional. Like, we looked at it and it was B tier, but it can be absolutely exceptional if you have these 3 things. And if it did show it, he is really good with Ivern, but it's kind of... Okay, ignore these. These are like singular matches. Duo champion. Okay, can I do Control F and look for Ivern? Where is Ivern? Okay, this isn't as much of an outlier. It's a 54% win rate, and where do we go to see the matches? I gotta figure out how to read the chart for you. Matches are in the end. Okay, go back to Ivern. Control F. Stats are kind of weird because we were at 60 for Rengar Ivern. Okay, this is a strange dynamic. It's probably easier to look at it from Ivern, but basically you can see it's common to play this, but it's really good. Of the other things that Rengar does good with, it's because he played 2 games with it. The only thing that like Ivern and Rengar can do good with are usually each other. They usually need one another to actually be good consistently, because like these characters do good with Ivern, but it's like 3 games played. This isn't the best data. Of someone who has a lot of games played and is winning, then it's Rengar. So, I can show you in-game. Hold on, let's unpause. Switch to in-game footage. Switch to in-game. There we go. So, the reason they are good together is because they have a really specific interaction that's, it's easy to explain, but I'll just go Rengar while we're talking about it. So basically, Rengar can jump from bushes and hit people, and Ivern is capable of putting bushes down. So suddenly, Rengar, who's like a really restrictive character, is capable of, jumping from anywhere, because you can put bushes down anywhere. I'll just fast forward to me picking Rengar.